Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church congregation of Grand Traverse, where all are truly welcome, all of every background, identity, and age. We especially extend our loving welcome to families with young children. Chelsea Bentley, our Director of Lifelong Learning, ensures that our young children have a meaningful role in the service, though it may add a few minutes to the length of our time together. The message we send to our children is that they are included, they are welcome, and they matter. I'm Susan Smith, coordinator of this service. I use she and her pronouns and am a member of the Sunday Services Committee. At the top of your order of service, please note informational items, including our land acknowledgement and our request to silence electronic devices. Also noted is our book for recording your joys and/or concerns at the front of the sanctuary on your left. Later in our service, Connie Metcalf from the Congregational Care Team will read what has been shared today. That sharing enables us to support one another through our individual challenges and losses, and to share in each other's celebration, growing ever closer as a result. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether it's your first time or your 100th, we're glad that you are here today. If you're visiting today, we'd love to get to know you. If you're comfortable, we invite you to stand and introduce yourself. I see Diane is ready to bring a microphone to you so everyone here and everyone online can hear you. If you'd prefer not to speak, that's okay too. Just sit back and enjoy our time together. Are there any visitors today? Good.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm new to the area. I'm a pharmacy intern, so thank you for having me. This is my first service, so please say hi afterwards. Thanks.
Welcome, Kay.
Oh, may I have
Anyone else? Let's see, Diane, where did you go?
Hi, I'm Susie. I'm originally from Massachusetts. This is my third time being here. I belong to St. Francis, but I'm interested in the NAMI speakers because I was treasurer of NAMI back in Massachusetts. And I was a retired psych nurse.
Wow, welcome, Susie. Thank you for being here to honor those presentations. Anyone else? If you're new to us, we invite you to join us for our social hour following the service and take one of our yellow mugs so that we can identify you as a visitor, introduce ourselves, and begin to get to know one another. Your insert is chock full of announcements, and I forgot a paper at my seat, so I'll go back and get it. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. They were Chelsea's announcements, so I can't forget them. Please be sure to review the insert. And she actually has some of the same things that I had, mostly a request for volunteers for the solstice celebration this Thursday, December 18th. We need help with setup, tending fires, bringing food, and so on. A link to sign up is in the flash, or you can check in with Chelsea after today's service. And she also says, on the 21st, we have an all-ages holiday cookie exchange and crafts after service. Bring a batch of your favorite cookies or treats and enjoy festive fellowship with our beloved community. And again, you can see the flash for more details. And Okay, the solstice event itself on Thursday night begins at 5 o'clock. And there is a call for wrapped book donations for children at Court Aid Elementary. And Bill Allen's donation of artwork to benefit, I think it's to benefit the Raise the Roof Fund. In this group of announcements, you can also always find Alex's Coffee Hour, Reverend Alex's Coffee Hour. So now let us worship together, beginning with our centering music, performed by Renee Russell and Dan Jones. Thank you. That was magnificent. Today's service is about navigating the troubled waters of mental illness. We will hear from three congregants, myself, Teresa Spihar, and Judy Barrett, who have sailed these seas and struggled to keep their lifeboats afloat. Our stories are scattered throughout the service so that you might reflect on each one before moving on to the next, giving them a chance to resonate with you. Our final contributors will be Judy Barrett and Jeff Rhodes, who together will present information about the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and specifically about our local chapter, which has been instrumental in helping people we know make it through the storm. Many have described it as my lifeline. NAMI has brought hope to countless individuals who didn't think they would make it. Now I would like to share with you two spiritual events in my life over the last 2 weeks. The first was listening to Ron Powers' reading of his book entitled No One Cares About Crazy People. Powers is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist with several bestsellers to his credit, both fiction and nonfiction. The horrendous title, "No One Cares About Crazy People," is a direct quote from one of Wisconsin's former governor, Scott Walker's aides. Interestingly, on an aside note, I don't remember how I ran across Ron Powers' book, even though it was only 2 weeks ago. Somebody must have put it in my path. In addition to the social history of mental illness and its treatment, in his book, Powers shares the story of his 2 gifted sons. One who trained at the Interlochen Arts Academy under Bill Sears. As Ron says, the book is something of a family memoir. Through a cruel twist of fate, schizophrenia emerged in both sons when in their early 20s. One son died of suicide. Ron Powers deferred writing this book for nearly a decade after his younger son's death. As I was reading it, I recognized it as an extraordinary work, both in his research and understanding of mental illness, its treatment, and its historical journey, but also by sharing the nightmares of their family's own experience as they suffered the terrible, unrelenting assault of mental illness. After spending a couple of days listening to it as I did housework around my Flint home, my sister-in-law, Barb Stamiris, sent me a text message about movies showing at the State Theater as part of the film festival. I couldn't believe it when I saw a movie by the same name as Ron Powers' book. How could these 2 improbable events have coincided, both intersecting with me? It was as if each had sought me out. I wasn't looking for readings or movies on mental illness, perhaps a notable quote or passage I could use in the service. Yet this collision with these 2 extraordinary exposés somehow found me. How does that happen? I did attend the movie on Wednesday night and was not disappointed. In addition to featuring Ron Powers and his family, it focused on many other families and their afflicted loved ones. It told how many of these stories end with confinement in institutions of abuse, sexual, physical, or otherwise, rather than in institutions or treatment designed to restore a person's best self. With imprisonment, because what else would you do with a crazy person? With death by policemen who then pump on the victim's chest as if they could revive the individual whose life they had just taken, whose critical volume of blood had just poured on the street from holes in his chest. These 2 exposés on this subject matter were extraordinary for their strong storytelling, their subject matter, but also for their penetrating ability to speak to the soul. One fellow author and journalist, Ron Susskind, said, if everyone read this book, the world would change. If only. I would like to invite Teresa to come forward, and she is going to work with you on the chalice lighting words. They are in the covenant on the back of your order of service.
Good morning. As Susan lights the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, please join us in reading our covenant words. As she said, they are printed on the back of your order of service. I'm accountable for me. You're accountable for you. In community, we hold each other through joy and conflict. We openly welcome all as we respond to the needs of the world. And now let us sound the singing bowl, entering a time of stillness.
This is a new hymn to some. It's called In This Circle. And I'm going to sing it through one time and then welcome you to sing with me. In this body, no fear. In this body, safety. In this body, greatest happiness. In this body, deep peace. Please join me. In this body, no fear. In this body, safety. In this body, greatest happiness. In this body, deep peace. In this circle. In this circle, no fear. In this circle, safety. In this circle, greatest happiness. In this circle, deep peace. In this city. In this city, no fear. In this city, safety. In this city, greatest happiness. In this city, deep peace. In this country. In this country, no fear. In this country, safety. In this country, greatest happiness. In this country, deep peace. In this world. In this world, no fear. In this world, safety. In this world, greatest happiness. In this world, deep peace. Last one, in my heart. In my heart, no fear. In my heart, safety. In my heart, greatest happiness. In my heart, deep peace. Thank you.
Good morning. Oh, that's very loud. Kiddos, if you want to come forward, come on up. I know we're a smallish group today, but that's okay. Hi. I have new candles to add to our Advent spiral. How are we today? It's good to see For those who don't know me, my name is Chelsea Bentley. I'm the Director of Lifelong Learning here at UUCGT. I use she, they pronouns, and it is my joy to serve these children and families every week. We're talking about Advent, and I need my thing. I sat down too fast. So we've been working with this Advent spiral the last few weeks. We're almost there, but we're entering the darkest week. Oof. Have you been noticing that it gets dark really early? Yeah. Do you want to go to bed at like 5 p.m.? Because I do. You want to go to school at 6 in the morning? Yeah.
I don't get to watch the sunrise anymore.
Oh, yeah. Because the sunrise is like on your way to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
I used to have a really, really good view, but it's already daytime by the time I'm there.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully, good news. The light is returning. But we've got a little bit of time yet, and we are entering the darkest week of the year. So, my friends, we are going to add to our spiral this morning, but first, before we do that, I have a little practice for us. So, in the traditional Advent season, this week is about joy, which is interesting since we are talking about mental illness and we are talking about things that do not feel very joyful, and we are going into the darkness. So let's think about when we were in darkness, when we are feeling hopeless, when things feel really, really hard. Where can we find joy? Has anybody heard of a glimmer before? The idea of glimmers. Grown-ups, have any of you heard of the idea of glimmers before? Yes. Some of us have, yeah. So glimmers are these little moments that you find throughout your day that you go, oh, I need to hold on to that little sparkle. And you hold on to it and you keep it and it lights you up on the inside. And that is where I think we can find joy right now, is in those little bitty things. So can you think of an example of something that might be a glimmer in your life, a little moment of hope or a little moment of joy? Kids or grown-ups, anybody can answer.
When the sun peeks out.
Oh, when the sun peeks out through the clouds on these gray days. Yeah, feeling like we're inside a snow globe. It's so magical. Anybody else? Any glimmers? A kiss from a pet. I love it. It's so good. Anybody else have any glimmers? Oh, when the amaryllis blooms. Seeing a flower bloom in the middle of winter is so magical. Ava, what's your glimmer?
When your dog sleeps by you.
When your dog sleeps by you all night long. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That love and trust. I had one yesterday. My friends have a little baby. She's 9 months old, and she fell asleep on me for an hour and a half yesterday. And I said, oh, this is the best feeling in the whole world. Holding this little baby and feeling that trust and that safety while she sleeps. So my friends, I want us to hold on to those glimmers this morning. I have another little meditation for us. And I feel like a lot of us were not here a couple weeks ago when we did this. So we're going to use this little spiral breathing technique. So you can trace it on your hand, you can trace it on your leg, but we're going to trace a spiral. And as we breathe in, we're going to go inward in our spiral. And as we breathe out, we're going to go outward in our spiral. And then I just have a little meditation for us this morning, get into our bodies a little bit, and to hold on to some of those glimmers. So, breathing in, bringing your spiral inward, and breathing out, tracing your spiral outward. And just keep up that pattern. Go as slow or as fast as you need to. Try to slow it down with each breath you take in. So let yourself relax. Take in a nice, slow breath. Move that spiral inward. And then let it out. And one more deep breath inward. And out. And keep that going. Let your body relax. Let your muscles relax. Your face, your arms, your legs. Let your mind relax. whatever you've been carrying that you don't need with you right now, let it go. Let all of you, body, mind, and spirit, deeply and fully relax and keep breathing. Now imagine that you are gathered around a candle with your loved ones. This is a time of year when we light candles. What would make you feel connected and hopeful? What would make you feel joy in the darkness? Do you tell stories? Do you sing a song? Do you enjoy special treats or a meal together? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? And what do you touch? Where are the little glimmers that you can find in your life? How can you carry those glimmers with you out into the dark when you leave that candle? Take one more big spiral breath in. And out. Take that glimmer, hold it in your heart, and come back to this room. And I'm going to ask you to help me replace 7 of our stones with candles, and then I'm going to ask you to help me light our candles. Should be 7, perfect. 7, thank you. And while we sing, May I Be Light, we will light our candles. May I be lighted in you. May you be lighted in me. Into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide. May I be lighted in you. May you be loved in me. From this place out to the world for all time. May I be light in you. May you be light in me. Into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide. May I be love in you. May you be love in me. From this place out to the world for all time.
So for our first reflection today, I'm sharing the story of my son, Carl. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when 20 years old. Over the next 18 months, he was hospitalized in a lockdown unit 5 times. His manic episodes were characterized by extreme irritability, hyperactivity, risky behavior, grandiosity, essentially a textbook description of mania. 2 years later, he decided to visit Merlin Mann, a radio broadcaster out of San Francisco. Of course, he had no appointment and was unknown to the broadcaster. He was barely away from Flint when he called us. The conversation was incoherent and belligerent. We knew he was manic. A few days later, I received a collect phone call from Polk County, Iowa. I couldn't understand the automated voice and didn't authorize the call. My husband, who has more street smarts than I, said, "It's Carl, and he's in jail." Frank called them back. He was told that Carl would be arraigned the next morning at 8:30. We made arrangements for our 10-year-old daughter and left Flint that night about 8 p.m. for Des Moines, 600 miles away. The next morning, we watched on closed-circuit TV as a disheveled Carl in an orange jumpsuit was arraigned and bail was set. We had to pay bail, get Carl's car out of impoundment, find an auto supply store, repair the car, and pick Carl up. I had been told it would be several hours before his release. But when we went back to the jail, Carl wasn't there. The desk sergeant told us that he had left, saying that he was walking home. We drove toward the freeway, alert for a hitchhiker, but didn't find Carl. We got a room for the night so I could make phone calls that might provide clues. My credit card company said there were no new charges. All of the Des Moines hospitals denied having a patient by Carl's name. Knowing he was in a manic state, I was concerned about his vulnerability. The next morning, I again started calling the credit card company. The only charge was near the airport. I suspected that he was flying home, but at the airport, they refused to access passenger information to help us. That was Labor Day weekend. Frank told me to go home. Our daughter was due back to school the next day. Frank said that he would stay and look for Carl, but as he told me, Carl could contact us if he wanted to. When I left for Flint, I wasn't sure I would ever see my son again. I called the credit card company every hour on my way home. After several calls, they reported a rental car charge. I called Frank and told him to head home because apparently Carl was driving home. Frank started home. He was 200 miles from Des Moines when he received a phone call from an ICU there, where Carl was a patient. Frank returned to await Carl's discharge. Carl later told us he had smoked weed with strangers. After leaving them, while distracted as he drove, he ran into a utility pole which snapped off and fell, smashing in the top of his car. When Carl and Frank got home and I saw Carl, I insisted that we go to Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak, where his psychiatrist was on staff. While I talked to the ER nurse, Carl left the facility. A security officer got Carl to come back inside. Carl was holding his chest, complaining of severe pain due to kryptonite exposure. The ER doctor agreed to hold Carl until his own psychiatrist could evaluate him in the morning. As we waited, Carl was loud and inappropriate. When I returned to his bedside after getting coffee, he was in shackles. His psychiatrist agreed that he needed hospitalization, but he explained that Beaumont was only for voluntary admissions, code for cooperative patients. So, having driven to the Detroit suburbs, having waited 14 hours, and having been without sleep for almost 48, I then followed a transport ambulance from Royal Oak to Hurley Hospital in Flint. After so much effort over 4 days, I felt that I had fallen down the proverbial rabbit hole. All the moving pieces left me thoroughly discombobulated, and I was at the start space all over again. We're now going to transition to our offering. Sustaining a congregation such as this is a privilege. As a self-governing and self-sustaining community, we receive no outside funding. We rely on the generosity and commitment who find their spiritual home with us. Our ushers will pass baskets with 2 sides. One side supports the life and mission of this congregation. The other supports needs in the community, including local food programs, shelters, and services for those most vulnerable. A portion of our community giving supports our social justice work. These choices reflect our shared UU values: love at the center, surrounded by generosity, transformation, equity, pluralism, independence, and justice. You can give in many ways that you can imagine, including those shown on the slide, and my favorite, auto-pay by my bank. However you give, please let us know on a memo line or comment field or via a phone call to the office whether your gift is to be applied to your pledge, to community needs, or if it's for a special collection. This helps us ensure that your gift is used exactly as you wish. Every gift, large or small, is received with deep gratitude. If this is your first time with us, please be our guest and let the baskets pass. We now gratefully receive this morning's offering. Please enjoy our meditation music.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Spihar, and I use she and her pronouns. I have been affected by family members with mental illness my entire life. Today, I'm going to focus on my son's journey once he moved in with us. My son moved in with me and David in November of 2022. He was 30 years old at the time. Brandon was living downstate in the Detroit area. He called me frantic. He was homeless and living in his pickup truck at the time. When he moved in with us, it was with the stipulation that this was short-term to help get him on his feet and on his own. Our lives became a roller coaster of emotions once we realized that my son was not just being difficult or was a jerk. When I look back on things, there were symptoms long ago from when he was a teenager. The guilt I feel for not recognizing that is almost unbearable. His behavior was erratic from the start, and we had blow-ups pretty much from the time he moved in with us, even though I made conscious efforts to make sure I was speaking calmly and from a place with love. It didn't matter. Brandon was always full of rage. At first, I admit we thought it was a behavioral issue. We didn't know what to do. Since the age of around 18, Brandon had a history of finding employment, but he only kept the jobs for about 6 weeks. Always, he would express grandiosity after about a week at each job. There was a great chance for him being moved to management. His superiors loved him. They were all amazed by him, etc. And I do want to say my son is very intelligent, but this was always within the first week of being hired. About 5 weeks later, he would say, oh, something stupid happened at work, and he was wrongfully blamed, and now he's unemployed. Each time he secured employment, this pattern emerged. As I said, he was always angry. If there was a disagreement, he would immediately grab his duffel bag and be out the door. We couldn't get him to unpack the bag or his hamper and put his clothes away. He just was always ready to run. At some point, a few months after Brandon moved in with us, I took an emotional step back and looked at our situation. I recognized that there was something not right about his brain, that there were symptoms of a mental health issue. Now what to do? He's an adult and refusing to entertain that possibility. After a particularly scary blow-up with Brandon leaving the house on foot, I reached out to the Crisis Center of Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. What I encountered was terrifying. My son had left in a manic state, screaming, throwing things. Basically, I was told there was nothing they could do. I told them that he had been suicidal in the past and I was worried for him. Again, they told me he's an adult and it's up to him to go and get help. Again, I explained that he does not recognize that he has mental illness. When it's suggested he seeks help, he thinks I'm just trying to control him. After manic episodes, he doesn't remember what he said or done. And I was worried about his safety. During one of the phone calls, I remember I was sitting on the bathroom floor, crying and pleading with the lady on the phone to please help our family. Please offer guidance. What could we do? She got quiet for a second and said to me, "It sounds to me that you are in need of mental help also." I hung up. At this point, family members were berating our decision to let him continue to stay with us. I could not bear the thought of him on the streets and committing suicide. He had told me that he had tried that at least twice in the past. Brandon admitted himself to months in emergency room one day, stating that he needs help, that sometimes he entertains thoughts of hurting himself. They kept him for observation, did scans of his brain, but said there was nothing notable. And since he was not threatening himself with suicide at that very moment, there was nothing they could do. So they sent him home with a paper with 2 phone numbers to call to get help. When Brandon was home and called the numbers, one was incorrect. The other phone number was to Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. He made an appointment. He spoke with someone at the appointment and completed the assessment, at which point he was told he was not severe enough. They couldn't help him. He left the appointment and felt he didn't matter. That broke my heart. In the meantime, I needed to learn how to stay steady and strong to help him navigate this very rough road he was on. I learned of someone here at UUCGT that had faced similar circumstances. I reached out to her and I'm so grateful for the conversation we had. I also heard about NAMI. I reached out to them and they were my lifeline. No, NAMI could not force my son to get help. They could not force treatment centers to recognize how important it is for him to get help. What they did was teach me that I was not alone, that there are things I could learn so I can stay strong and be the rock my son needed until we could find help for him. I reached out and was invited to join the family support group. After a little bit, it was recommended I join the family to family course. It was an 8-week course Zoom meeting to discuss in great detail how to cope with our loved one's mental illness. It offered numerous resources, and again, a chance to share with others what we have learned, what helps, etc. I received this binder in the mail, and I could not believe how detailed it was. And for 8 weeks, I locked myself in our camper for 2.5 hours each Tuesday evening attending the Zoom meetings. David and I were finally able to get Brandon to understand how important it is for him to go for therapy. It was very difficult as he was on Medicaid at the time. He was on the waiting list for 9 months before an opening became available. That was extremely frustrating for him as well. He felt he didn't matter to the world. He was nervous. He might change his mind once the appointment became available because he was ready now. But we were always encouraging. I admit I'm a bit worried that as of yet, he does not have an official diagnosis. He self-medicates with marijuana, but assures me he does not use it before or at work or when driving. I do not see anything that makes me feel he's lying about that part, but I have mixed feelings about the marijuana use. But I also see a much calmer, peaceful, and genuinely loving human being when I look at my son. Brandon says he does not want to be labeled, as society has biases against mental illness. I understand that and explain that he has every right to get the treatment he deserves. Mental illness is just that. It's an illness. It is not any different than if he had diabetes or a heart condition.
Good morning, friends. My name's Connie Metcalf, and I'm part of the care committee here at UUCGT. It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold on our hearts as we are gathered here today. If you have a joy or concern that is a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Rev. Alex or to a member of the congregational care team. You can also light a candle at any time during the service to honor your joy or concern during our stone meditation, knowing that you are held in the loving hearts of this community. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. So here's what's been shared for us today. December 14, a candle for all who suffered from mental illness. This from Susan Smith. Wishing Anne Marie Jones the happiest of birthdays today, from Kim Grebe. And Anne Marie is our director of music here. Enjoy the beauty and solitude of nature's winter bounty. This is from me. What a joy driving in and seeing the beautiful flurries. I know that's funny to some of you. Happy birthday to Mary Newhouse, my soulmate of nearly 43 years. Love, Dave. Aww. With the world in such disorder, I am thrilled that there's a reason for great joy. My grandchildren are surprising their dad, my son Jason, with an 8-week-old yellow lab puppy. I get to babysit soon. This from Mary Van Valen. And the last share, my first time to write here. A joy that Susan's son, my nephew, is flourishing in good health with his family in Flint. From Barb Stamaris. Apologize if I didn't pronounce that last name correctly. All right. Now let's share a moment of stillness for the joys and concerns that remain in silence and on our hearts. Spirit of life.
Are we doing the stone meditation?
Yep. Friends, as we continue our time of joys and concerns, we now open our time for the stone meditation. If you feel so moved, you're invited to come up forward to take a stone and to place it in this bowl of water. This is not a time for words, but a chance to bring what is on your heart into our circle of community, trusting that it is held in love and care. As you feel ready, please come forward.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sleep in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Hello. My name is Judy Barrett, and I am a very long-time member of this congregation, starting out at our Oak Street little church we were at. My UU values of social justice are a fundamental part of my involvement with NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. My mental health journey began when my twin daughters were 16 years old. Very typically, mental health challenges began to show in adolescence. What followed were years of trauma, the kind of trauma you don't wish on your worst enemies. There were hospitalizations and psych hospitals all across the state. Worse than getting into care were the many times when care was refused. There's no beds available, or she's not sick enough. She says she's not suicidal. Never mind the fact that the police brought her in because of the neighbors hearing the screaming and the police officer finding lit matches being thrown all over the apartment. This journey included self-harm, cutting of one's arms and legs, pregnancies, abortions, strip club jobs, heroin addiction, alcohol addiction, court appointments, jail time, group home placements, failed group home placements. The losses experienced during these years were simply sad. Our phones did not ring for our girls with friends calling. No rites of passage. There were not dates, proms, driver's ed, college plans. High school was not even completed. Family vacations and holiday gatherings were most often events to be avoided as they would be destroyed by trauma and drama. There was shame and blame everywhere. I come from a family of 8 siblings, and their children were all becoming successful in their chosen pathways in life. And it was easy for them to armchair, out of love and support for me, look for answers. Perhaps it was because my parenting was too strict. Or maybe, they were all made to study instruments, go to camp. Or maybe it was because we were too lax. There were not enough consequences. I was so ashamed, sure that I had totally failed in my most important life journey, parenting. The hope was that all this was going to pass when the adolescent years passed, that by 21 things would be better, or maybe by 26 when science was then telling us that brains would be fully developed into adulthood. Fortunately, along the way, by happenstance, I found a NAMI support group meeting. It was called NAMI for Family and Friends, Caregivers of the Individuals with Mental Illness. I felt my shoulders relax as the burden of shame lifted, and I felt help. There in the room were other caregivers, parents, friends like me. And these people were not from the other side of the tracks. They were from all walks of life. We were walking the same path. I knew I had found my tribe, my people. I was able to begin coping, finding tools, information, companionship, total non-judgment environment. And there were even a few smiles. Truly, for the very first time in my whole journey in many years, I was not alone. I was so excited by what I experienced in that first group that I set upon to get back to my home, Traverse City, and get a NAMI affiliated going here. We became an official 501c3 nonprofit, and I sat on that beginning board as president. Together with NAMI National Resources, we began bringing the tools, the information, how to navigate the extremely complicated and broken mental health system. I became trained in teaching NAMI educational programs and how to become a group facilitator. And I currently help in finding outreach programs such as we are doing right here today with the Unitarian Universalist. I'm honored because I meet with families weekly at support groups and help them find care, coping skills, safety measures. Together we provide support, care, tools, and navigation through the troubled waters of mental health care. I am passionate that no one walks this journey alone. And how can you help? Or help end the stigma? Because it's 1 in 5 of us that are affected, or a family member in the whole spectrum. It could be debilitating depression all the way through schizophrenia. It's very common. The brain is a body part, and body parts that need help do much better with help. If your arm is broken, if you have diabetes, medical care. The brain, when it needs medical care. Ending the stigma to help everybody who needs it be able to facilitate care. I'm excited to share this journey with you because I've been very absent. Unitarianism is in my heart and in my spirit, but the day-to-day coping with and living with my family situation has prevented me from being a really active member here. But I'm a passionate member, and I'm passionate that no one walks this walk alone. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Rhodes, and I work with Judy Barrett at the National Alliance on Mental Illness here in Grand Traverse County, and we have a team of us that work together. I'd like to say that Judy and I could probably talk to you for 2 hours rather than the 6 minutes that we've been allotted for this morning. And Judy and I will be available at a table out in the foyer immediately after the service. Now, Judy said that approximately 1 in 5 will experience mental illness. The data that we're getting now suggests that it's about 1 in 4. And I would like to say that everyone in here has been affected by mental illness. Either mental illness has touched you as an individual, or it has touched a family member or a friend that you know. So I'm going to say with confidence that everyone in this room this morning has been personally affected by mental illness. One of the ways that we like to explain mental illness is, Judy said, it's really on a par with physical illness. And when I go into the schools and teach the kids at Traverse City West or Traverse City Central, one of the things that we like to tell them is that mental illness is no different than if you break your arm. If you break your arm, you're going to go and get help and assistance. It's the same thing with a mental health challenge. You're going to go and get the help that you need and that you deserve. So the mission, I can read this to you, but I'm not going to. This is our mission, and this really is what drives us as individuals and as a group, to provide a safe place for people to come to be educated about what mental illness is and to receive the support that they need. And the main goal, as Judy said, really, is to reduce the stigma that comes along with mental illness. Like I said, you have a broken arm, there's not stigma with going to get help to see a physician for that. If you or a family member or a friend has a mental health challenge, there should be no stigma with that as far as going to get help. So here's our vision statement that we have. And as you can see from that, it talks about community and it talks about coming together. It's a place, NAMI, Grand Traverse, it's a place where people can come where they feel that they are understood and where they are deeply, deeply appreciated and supported. And then here are our goals. And these are really the stated goals that we have here for Grand Traverse. Each affiliate has different goals. You can read what our goals here for the Grand Traverse affiliate. But I will say that across all of NAMI nationally, there are really 4 pillars that hold NAMI together. The first is advocacy. And advocacy includes going to the legislatures and trying to get laws changed to make it easier to get help and to get the access that is needed and is so difficult, as Teresa told us. The second pillar is education. We like to educate people on the basics of what mental health challenges are and what mental illness is. Support, and Judy will talk to you a little bit more about the support groups that are offered here in Grand Traverse. And then one of our other pillars is diversity. Just like this church, you welcome everyone. It's the same with NAMI. We welcome anyone and we turn no one away.
So, did that change? Let's change that slide if we could. Yeah, where NAMI's here to assist. It's not instinctual how to take care of a challenged brain because it just needs new skills, new ways of talking, new ways of keeping the communication open because the goal is treatment. And individuals that are affected are not always open or self-aware enough to say, yeah, sure, I'd like to go get treatment on this. So we teach a lot of communication skills on the right things to say to achieve the goal of treatment. First steps are bringing families in or bringing people in typically is the first step. And entry level is most typically the family support group, and those are done live and on Zoom. And then there's higher level, and equal with the family support is a peer support class, because as folks are ready to come in and want to share, there's a class just as peer-to-peer, we call it, support group. The next level up are these, and Teresa spoke about doing an 8-week, it's a curriculum-based class, and that's available too. And the other exciting thing that I dreamt about and we now have grants for, we have a navigator position. So as somebody comes in initially into a support group, we don't just turn them away and see you next week. It's if anyone that needs specific help, because the system is broken. You wait weeks, you wait months to find therapists. Sometimes it's very dangerous and somebody really needs to go into ER. Whatever the situation, somebody might just need a therapist and can't find one. We have a navigator position that is very talented and works one-on-one with folks. And I guess really at this point we can wind up with just some of the resources. We're located at the Little Christ Church, has given us an office space and a space for where our meetings are. UUCGT on the national level is an excellent resource. And just help us in getting the word out so nobody walks alone and everybody can come in and start to get some help. And it's wonderful to always say yes. No insurance, there's no no's in our group. You come in, everybody, and we begin. Thank you so much, and we'll be available out in the hall. Thanks.
Everyone would like to sing with me hymn number 1002, Comfort Me. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak with me. Speak with me, speak with me, speak with me, oh my soul. Speak with me, speak with me, speak with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
As we close, I want to say Friday night, like many of you, I listened to Tim Snyder and Rachel Maddow, and he said repeatedly, keep doing the thing, whatever it is. Of the many things we should be doing, one of those is advocating for those who are mentally ill for a better system that meets more of their needs. My words come from one of the national mental health organizations, which says hope is a verb. It requires action. Please join us in the social hall for some refreshments, and Judy and Jeff will be there to answer any questions or share their resources with you. Thank you so much for your attentiveness during this service, which means so much to so many.
Thank you.